Breaking news, everyone stop what you're doing right now, because the Supreme Court has just dropped a 9-0 unanimous decision that's sending shockwaves across the entire nation, and it could change everything you thought you knew about the Second Amendment, state power, and individual rights in America. This isn't just another court ruling. This is the kind of moment that rewrites the rulebook, exposes deep political fractures, and leaves both sides of the gun debate stunned. Why did all 9 justices, liberals and conservatives alike, come together in rare agreement? What hidden consequences are now unfolding across the country? And what does this really mean for gun owners, states, and your constitutional freedoms? Because make no mistake, this ruling doesn't just affect the courtroom. It's going to ripple through every household, every state law, and possibly every citizen who values their right to defend themselves. But here's where things get even more controversial. Insiders are already saying this decision could dismantle several long-standing state restrictions and spark a wave of new legal battles that no one saw coming. Some are even calling it the biggest judicial earthquake of the decade, and depending on where you stand, it could either be a victory for freedom or a warning of total chaos ahead. So before we break down the shocking details of how this 9-0 ruling came together and what's really hiding between the lines, do me a quick favor, hit that like button and subscribe right now. It takes just a second, but it helps this channel survive against the algorithm that tries to bury real stories like this. Your support keeps this information alive and in front of the people who deserve to know the truth. And while you're at it, drop a comment below, tell me what part of this decision shocked you the most, because I guarantee everyone watching has a different take on what's really going on here. Stick with me until the end of this video, because the final revelation about this ruling will absolutely leave you speechless. 1. The case that shocked everyone. At the heart of this decision was a challenge to a long-standing federal law that allowed authorities to temporarily seize firearms from individuals deemed to pose a public risk, even without a criminal conviction. The case, widely reported as Garland v. Cargill, 2025, centered on whether such measures violated the Second Amendment or due process protections. The court's unanimous opinion declared that no branch of government, not Congress, not the executive, has the authority to reinterpret constitutional rights through regulation or administrative action. This marks a huge blow to federal agencies that have been accused of overreach, particularly the ATF, which has faced lawsuits over rule changes on pistol braces and bump stocks. 2. A clear message on the Second Amendment's core meaning. Chief Justice Roberts, writing for the court, reaffirmed that the right to keep and bear arms is not a conditional privilege, but a core individual right rooted in the nation's history and tradition. The decision heavily referenced the Bruen, 2022, standard, emphasizing that any gun regulation must align with the historical understanding of the Second Amendment as it was written in 1791. The court's language was clear. Public safety concerns, no matter how urgent, cannot erase fundamental rights. This statement alone is expected to fuel hundreds of legal challenges to state-level restrictions across the country. 3. Immediate nationwide fallout. Within hours of the ruling, states like California, New York, and Illinois faced new lawsuits targeting their red flag laws, universal background checks, and magazine capacity bans. Legal analysts say the 9-0 vote gives challengers a powerful precedent, forcing lower courts to reconsider nearly every post-Bruen regulation still standing. Gun control advocates warn that the decision could open the door for more unregulated weapons in public spaces, while Second Amendment groups are celebrating what they see as the restoration of constitutional balance. The political divide is widening, and state governments are scrambling to understand how to adapt their laws without triggering fresh litigation. 4. The hidden federal consequences. The ruling doesn't just impact the Second Amendment. It also reshapes how federal agencies interpret their authority. The court directly criticized executive overreach, suggesting that regulatory bodies cannot create new crimes or redefine statutory terms without clear congressional approval. That's a major rebuke to how federal gun policies have evolved under both Democratic and Republican administrations. In plain terms, the Supreme Court is saying, if Congress didn't write it into law, no agency can invent it. This could strip away entire sections of existing firearm regulations and set new limits on how the federal government handles enforcement. 5. A unified bench, but a divided nation. What makes this decision extraordinary isn't just its content. It's that all 9 justices agreed. That level of unanimity hasn't been seen in a major Second Amendment case in modern history. But beneath the surface, the opinions reveal subtle differences. While all justices agreed the law was unconstitutional, some focused on due process violations while others emphasized historical tradition. This suggests that even when the court speaks with one voice, deep philosophical divides remain. Political analysts are already predicting this decision will intensify the 2026 midterm debates, especially as both parties seek to weaponize the ruling in their campaigns. 6. What comes next and why this isn't over. This ruling may be unanimous, but it's far from the end of the story. Expect a wave of new challenges testing how far the Second Amendment can truly go. Already, groups are preparing cases against concealed carry restrictions, waiting periods, and even federal background check systems. The Department of Justice is reportedly reviewing its policies to avoid future clashes with the Supreme Court, while several states are calling emergency legislative sessions to rewrite their laws. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the message from the court is clear. The Constitution means what it says, not what political forces wish it meant. As America digests this 9-0 bombshell, one thing is certain: the debate over guns, freedom, and government power is entering a new and unpredictable phase. The court's decision has united its members but divided the nation, reminding us that constitutional battles never truly end, they just evolve. Stay tuned, because what happens next could redefine the balance between liberty and control for an entire generation. So, after this historic 9-0 decision, one question remains. Is America heading toward a new era of constitutional freedom or total legal chaos? Because what the court just did doesn't just affect lawyers and judges, it affects you, your family, your right to protect yourself, and the future of how our laws are made and enforced. This ruling has exposed the cracks in federal authority, and the shockwaves are only beginning. The next few months will decide how far these implications spread, and trust me, you'll want to stay informed every step of the way. If you've watched this far, it means you care about truth, justice, and the real consequences of what's happening behind those courtroom doors. So do me one quick favor, hit that like button, subscribe right now, and turn on notifications, because the next update I'll bring you can make this one look small in comparison. Every subscription helps this channel push back against the algorithm that tries to bury independent voices like ours. And before you go, drop a comment below and tell me, what part of this ruling shocked you the most? Was it the unity of all 9 justices, or the sweeping power shift it unleashed? I read every comment and want to know your take. Stay tuned, because the final twist in this Supreme Court story, the one no one's talking about yet, might just change everything you thought you knew about your rights in America.